Deep within a quiet village surrounded by mountains, there lived a young boy named Yusuf. He was gentle, soft-spoken, and loved the Qur'an more than anything. Every night after Isha, Yusuf would sit beneath an old olive tree, open his mushaf, and recite with a voice so pure that even the wind seemed to stop just to listen. But what Yusuf didn't know was that something else was listening too. In the world of the Jinn, not far from where Yusuf lived, there existed a powerful Jinn known as Malih. His presence terrified other Jinn. He was known for his strength, his temper, and his broken past. But what no one understood was that Malih carried a burden in his heart, a restlessness he had never been able to explain. One night, as Yusuf recited, Malih found himself drawn towards the sound. The Qur'an pulled him like a force he could not resist. He hid behind the old tree, listening from the shadows, trembling not from fear, but from something he had not felt in centuries: peace. 4 nights, Malih returned. He listened. He absorbed the words. And every verse touched him deeper than the last. Until one night, the boy stopped reciting. Yusuf closed his mushaf, stood up, and walked home. But Malih stayed behind, staring at the ground where the boy had sat, whispering the verses he had memorized from listening. He wanted more. He needed more. But a Jinn could not simply walk to a human and ask, "Teach me Qur'an." Until the night, everything changed. The forest around the old olive tree was darker than usual. The wind was restless. Yusuf walked to the tree as he always did, placed his mushaf on his lap, and began reciting Surah Al-Mulk, when suddenly, the leaves above him began to tremble. A presence descended. The air thickened. Yusuf felt it. Something watching him. He closed his mushaf slowly. And then he saw it. A tall figure forming from blue smoke and cold mist. Glowing eyes. A trembling heart hidden beneath a terrifying exterior. The Jinn. Malih bowed his head low, avoiding eye contact. "Human, do not fear," he whispered, though his voice shook. I have listened to your recitation for many nights. And the words you speak, they burn something inside me. Something that has slept for centuries." Yusuf, terrified yet strangely calm, asked softly, "What do you want from me?" Malih lowered himself until he was no taller than a man. His voice cracked. "I want to learn the Qur'an." The forest fell silent. No human had ever heard a request like this. No Jinn had ever humbled himself in such a way. Yusuf swallowed hard. "It is not allowed for me to teach you alone," he said. "But I can recite, and you can listen." Malih nodded, tears forming in eyes that had not cried in hundreds of years. And so, beneath the old olive tree, something unimaginable began. Night after night, Yusuf recited. And night after night, the Jinn listened, not with power, not with anger, but with a heart seeking guidance. The more he listened, the more Malih changed. His voice softened. His anger faded. His shadow dimmed. His heart for the first time bowed in humility. If you're enjoying this story, take a moment to subscribe. Your support helps us bring more Islamic stories, reminders, and inspirations to life. May Allah reward you for every second you spend learning His message. One night, when Yusuf finished reciting Surah Ash-Shu'ara, he turned to leave. But Malih spoke. "Human boy, those verses, they feel like they were meant for me." Yusuf smiled gently. "Because the Qur'an is for all creation, humans and Jinn." Malih lowered his head. "I have lived for hundreds of years in darkness, anger, and ignorance. But a human child taught me what my own kind never could." Yusuf shook his head. "I only recited. It was Allah who brought you here." The Jinn trembled. "Will Allah accept someone like me?" Yusuf placed his hand on the mushaf. The Qur'an changes anyone who allows it to enter their heart. That night, something miraculous happened. Malih bowed his massive, smoky form onto the earth. For the first time in his existence, he made sujood. The ground glowed beneath him. The forest stilled. The unseen world watched. A Jinn, making sujood to Allah after centuries of arrogance. From that night on, Malih no longer hid. He stood behind Yusuf as he recited. He memorized surahs. He helped Yusuf travel safely at night. He protected the boy's home from harm without ever being seen. And in return, Yusuf continued to recite for him, guiding him, teaching him manners, humility, and the words of the most merciful. Years passed. The boy grew into a young man. The Jinn grew into a worshipper of Allah. And the story of the Jinn who wanted to learn Qur'an spread across the unseen world until even the Jinn themselves whispered it with awe. A powerful creature of smokeless fire, saved by the recitation of a human child, transformed by the words of Allah, guided not by force, but by the Qur'an. And until today, the villagers say that if you walk into that forest after Isha, and sit beneath the old olive tree, you might still hear a voice. Not human, not earthly, reciting the Qur'an with a softness that shakes the heart. Because guidance belongs to Allah alone.